Hello, everybody, and welcome on in to Betting Weekly Game Bet Match, number one tennis betting podcast and YouTube show, brought to you in association with Bet Rivers, your hometown sportsbook. Welcome along. If you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button. Please hit the like. We need those subscribers and those members joining us here on the Betting Weekly Studios, going up and up and up. And if you've just joined us, where have you been? We've been doing this now for a few years, and welcome along. Okay, without further ado, I'm Nigel Seeley, joining me to look ahead to what is, without doubt, one of the best days of tennis that we've covered in the 3 years here. It is our senior ATP Tour handicapper. It is Sean Calvert. Good afternoon to you, Sean.
Good afternoon. It's a great card, isn't it?
What a time
there
to
will
be
be some more
alive.
Matches. It's a great time to be alive if you're a tennis fan, isn't it? This one tournament, you're going there, aren't you? So it's going to be. You'll sort of see what it's like. I don't know how many people are there. Actually, it doesn't look great. I'm watching Greek Sport against Van der Zandschulp at the minute. It doesn't look like.
And the tickets for today were €8, and they can only get about a tenth of the attendance for €8. So it's like, what's that? €8, about $10? No, it was about $8.
Was that? Yeah, roughly. Was that? Yeah, more or less. Was that $8 a flat rate, or was that the cheapest one?
Cheapest seats were €8. But the day that I'm going, I'm going on Thursday, the only seat available was in the €60 bracket. So it jumped from €8. Today was €8 if you wanted to go today.
But you could get, like today, for example, you could get much more expensive seats if you wanted to be courtside.
Yeah, you could have got much more expensive seats. But the point is like, even for £5, they've probably got about 50 people there.
That's what Mallorca was last year. I bought my Mallorca tickets on Black Friday. And they were €11, I think. In fact, I don't think it was even that. Something like, I think it was €11 price, but because it was Black Friday, I got them for half price, which was about €5.50.
Buy one, get 10 free. Buy one, get 10.
I do love that tournament though. It's the best tournament of the year. You sat there with the whole stand to yourself, sitting in the sun watching tennis. You can't beat it.
Yeah, this is indoors, which is not really great, but it's
I don't like that.
We're looking ahead to today's 3 matches, and they are the second round of the tournament. They aren't the best matches, as I said. I'm joking aside. We've just gone from the first major of the year, watching all Jannik Sinner, Carlos Alcaraz, Aleksandar Zverev, and now we've got some of the tour journeymen in action tomorrow. And unfortunately, at the time of recording this, there's only 3 matches that we can possibly speak about. So sometimes people post on the comment at the bottom, oh, why didn't you speak about this match? Why didn't you speak about that match? Well, the timing of this means we can only speak about 3 matches. I don't know if you've seen any data from round 1. I'm watching the match here, Greek Sport against Van der Zandschulp. It looks quite quick.
You think so?
Yeah, fairly quick. Greek Sport's playing well, serving well. It looks quite quick. On the eye test, it doesn't look slow.
I don't think it's that quick.
No?
It doesn't look that quick to me, no. I mean, the data we've got so far, it doesn't look deathly slow, but it looks about pretty much bang average for what you get on indoor hard courts these days on the ATP Tour. The years have gone, many years ago, haven't they? The days have gone, should I say, that it was lightning quick. You'd get all the serve volleys. Those days are long, long gone. They might come back, but not at the minute. The stats I've got so far from the first dozen matches, most of which, if not all of them, qualies, say that it's 77% holds of serve, 72% first serve points won. That makes it, if that can be trusted to continue throughout the tournament, which you don't know, that would make it slightly quicker than last year, because it was really slow last year in terms of stats. 75% holds, 69.5% first serve points won. So the early signs are that it is slightly quicker. I've seen a couple of the matches. Like it doesn't look slow. It just looks like a sort of standard, what you would call an indoor hard event. It's always this sort of pace these days, and they're playing with those head balls, which are kind of on the slow side.
Yeah. Head across to the BetRivers website. There will be more matches throughout the day today on Tuesday as we're recording this. And like I say, I'm out there on Wednesday. I'm going to fly out Wednesday, being at tennis on Thursday. And if you want to follow any action, anything I hear out the court or anything I hear around the ground or around the action around the town as well, you'll be able to do so on our Instagram account at Because We Win. Okay, without no further ado, let's move on to the 3 matches that are in action tomorrow. And the first match is one for the veterans. Is Nikoloz Basilashvili up against Mikhail Kukushkin. This match comes really with a bit of a wealth warning. I wouldn't trust either of these 2 players at all to produce anything. But Nikoloz Basilashvili is the favourite here. He's minus 157 with Bet Rivers. Kukushkin is plus 125. Spread 2.5. Total 22.5. We do have 2 head-to-heads to go by, but really one of them was back in 2017 in Memphis, which Basilashvili won. No real importance to that. But he did play in a challenger in Tenerife last year, and Kukushkin won 6-2, 6-2. So he did win the most recent outing. Basilashvili has done well. He's qualified through 2 matches here to get to this stage. So he's done okay, and he's done well all right in the challenger last week as well. So these 2 players dropped right out the top 100 in the world. They're trying to get back in. You know, it's a real difficult match to have a very, very strong opinion about with 2 players that really I couldn't really trust with your money, Sean.
I quite like this, you know.
Yeah, well, I guess it's typical your kind of game. 2 guys, 115, 116 in the world. Nobody else wants to watch it, but you found an angle for us.
I do like this. I like Basil anyway. Basilashvili, he's got me my biggest winner actually, 500 to 1 when he won Doha a few years ago. One of the firms put 500 to 1 up, and I was allowed a small interest on it. And he collected, ended up beating Roger Federer, and I think Roberto Bautista got in the final. You know, when Basil is fit, which he hasn't been really for the last several years, then his top level is really, really high. If you've not seen, but if you're quite new to tennis, you've not seen Basilashvili play because he's been injured the last couple of years. Really, he hits the ball, it stays hit, and if he's on, it's frighteningly good, you know. But it very rarely is on. Certainly these days, he's had a lot of injury problems. As I said, shoulder I think has been one of the main problems for him. His right shoulder. He's certainly had problems with that in recent times. It's good to see him back actually after all the injury issues that he's had in recent years. I actually watched a video of Basilashvili quite recently. He was recorded in November after he won the Seoul Challenger. It was the first time he won a challenger title or any title for quite some time, and he's not the most vibrant of characters. I think it's fair to say. He was sat there he'd just won the title. He was looking miserable as sin, and he was going on about the reporter was trying to big it up, saying, you know, Basil, we won't call him Basil, Nikoloz, you've won your first title in 2 years, whatever. And he was just sat there sort of shaking his head a bit and saying, well, I got a bit lucky in the final and I'm really lacking confidence. You know, my game I think is still there, but I don't have the confidence at all. He kept going on and on about it, how he wasn't remotely confident. And this reporter was wishing he'd asked him a different question. His top level is virtually unplayable, but we don't see it very often. As I said, we've not seen it in recent years. Has he still got it? That's the question. He's very, very hit and miss. If you've not seen him, he can lose very, very quickly in a sea of unforced errors. He's a player that I'm always interested in having a look if you ever get a market on 6-love. He loses a lot of sets 6-love. When his radar goes, it's gone. The next set he could come back and win 6-love or 6-1. That's Basilashvili. But on the stats of sort of recent and of long term, there's no value on him here at minus. I mean, I wouldn't bet Basil at minus 157 anyway.
Well, can I just say something? Because that was the price an hour ago. The prices have moved quite dramatically since those prices. It's minus 190 now for Basilashvili and plus 150 for Kukushkin. So it's a big move.
Really?
It's a big move, yeah.
That's, well, the only thing I can think of is maybe Kukushkin's injured. I don't know. I mean, I can't really make any case for that. If we look at the stats, there's no rationale for that whatsoever. If we look at the last 12 months at challenger level, because this is what these guys have mainly been playing recently, challengers, on hard courts. Basilashvili, 56% win rate and a service points won and return points won, total of 101. Kukushkin, 70% win rate and 105 total. So much, much better there for Kukushkin. If we go back to their last 10 main level matches on indoor hard, that's on ATP Tour level, there's nothing between that either. They've both got the same service points won and return points won, total of 95. Basilashvili's won 3 of his 10. Kukushkin's won 2 of his 10. So statistically, nothing really there that would make Basil minus 157 or minus 190. Certainly not minus 190. If we go even further back, their last 50 main level matches indoors, again, it's edge to Kukushkin. Slightly better win rate, 44% compared to 42%. Service points won and return points won, total of 97. Basilashvili 96. So far we've got nothing really that favours Basilashvili, apart from the fact that he's a few years younger. Kukushkin certainly is, getting on a bit now, 37. just turned 37 years of age. The head-to-head, as you mentioned earlier, it's 1-1, but in terms of the stats across the two meetings, it's favours Kukushkin, 103 to 97 in terms of their service points won and return points won totals. And in those two matches, Kukushkin's won quite a lot more on second serve. 51% of his second serve points he's won. Basilashvili, 42%. So I can only imagine this is about this move that you've just told me about is potentially to do with Kukushkin being injured. It's nothing to do with anything else, I don't think. Certainly isn't to do with statistics. If the price has got even bigger, then yeah, I'm happy to take Kukushkin. I mean, minus 190, Basilashvili. I don't think I'd bet him at that price against anybody because his game is so brittle and his confidence is so brittle. If he starts missing, which he does on a regular basis, it could all unravel very, very quickly. So, yeah, I'll take a punt on Kukushkin here.
Yeah, Kukushkin is currently, as I say, with the BetRivers website, he is currently plus 150. So if you download the app or the website and do have a bet and take Kukushkin, you'll be able to bet live and watch live with BetRivers. The match will be streamed to your tablet, your mobile device, or whichever way you want to watch your live sports. That match starts at 6:30 a.m. Well, all the matches start at 6:30 a.m. start time. We haven't got the order of play yet. But that one is about, so if you do want to bet on it, you want to head across there now to make sure you get on. The next match is a young American, Aleksandar Kovacevic, against David Goffin. This is another one where the market has moved. I mean, the thing is about these 250 matches is that it doesn't really take a lot for the market to move. The liabilities of these matches are quite small. So when we put these prices up, there might be a few $100 bet and it will move the market pretty significantly compared to what we've seen in majors or 1,000 events. The 250 events, the liabilities with BetRivers aren't as high, so there will be a lot of movements in these prices. It might not be a great amount of volume, but it just might be a little bit that's something that it will move it because the limits are quite low. So Kovacevic is now minus 143. David Goffin is plus 116. So if you wanted to bet the young American, you're going to get a better price now. David Goffin was very, very disappointing at the Australian Open where he got annihilated by Bonzi, and he's been pretty poor since he reached the quarterfinal. Well, awful since he reached the quarterfinal of Basel in October. Kovacevic has already got to the final and won the Challenger event this year. And again, he's come through 2 qualifying matches here, which I believe always like players who come through qualification. They have met once before in the Phoenix Challenger in 2022. Goffin won that in 3 sets. But Kovacevic has played 9 matches indoors this year. I know at not top level, but he's won 8 of them and lost 1. So he is the man in form. Minus 143 is the price now. Spread 1.5 and total 23.5.
So he's easing out, Kovacevic.
He's easing out. The money is coming for David Goffin.
I can see this I understand a bit more. If that's the case, I get that more than the Basilashvili one. Because it was just priced on current form before, which heavily favours Kovacevic, as you've said. He's in very good form. But statistically, his record at this level isn't anywhere near good enough to make him the price that he was when I looked at this earlier. He won the Awares Challenger in Portugal 10 days ago on indoor hard. Now, as you said, he's qualified here, beat Pablo Carreño Busta in straight sets. That's a very good win for him. And now he's facing a player in Goffin who hasn't won since October, but he hasn't been fit so far in 2025. I was happy to take a punt on him at the price he was against Bonzi after he said he was fit. Clearly he isn't. I mean, I have had a few bets over the years on Goffin that have gone down because he is an extremely difficult guy to kind of second guess. So I don't tend to bet him very often, hardly ever, in fact. You probably only heard me mention his name probably about half a dozen times on this show, if that, probably less than that. So he's not been fit. So the question is he now fit? We don't know. We could take a punt and say that he is. If he is, and he's got some of his confidence back, 'cause he's another player whose confidence is extremely brittle. He tends to have good runs and then bad runs. His confidence can go. His record here is very good. So if he's coming back here with that attitude that, I love this tournament, I always play well here, which a lot of players do. He's got a 69% win rate at this tournament at main level and a service points won and return points won total of 102 at this tournament. So his record is good here in Montpellier, but you have to say that he was a top 20 player in those days when pretty much all those statistics were made. for David Goffin. Now he's just outside the top 50. But if we look at the last 12 months at main level on all hard courts, Kovacevic, he's really struggled to make the step up from challengers, from doing really well in challengers, to producing the goods at main level, by and large. Last 12 months at main level, all hard courts, Kovacevic just a 30% win rate and a service points won and return points won total of 97. Goffin, much better, 56% win rate and a total of 100. So if you're just going on main level stats on hard courts over the last year, you would certainly be tempted to back David Goffin here. The question is he fit? We really don't know. He hasn't looked anything like fit so far in 2025. So it would just be a lean for me. Goffin scares me at the best of times. It normally has to be a really, really good price for me to back Goffin, as it was against Bonzi. But yeah, just a lean for me. But if I was betting in this match, it would be Goffin for me at the current odds.
Yeah, plus 116 is the price for the Belgium. And obviously, remember, 6:30 a.m. Eastern start. Our final match is Quentin Halys, a French player. French players do very, very well in Montpellier against Jesper de Jong. Halys is minus 245. I'm going to check if that is still the price. Yes, this one is still, there's no money for this one. Minus 245 Quentin Halys, plus 190 de Jong. Spread is 3.5 and total here is 22.5. If we look at the head-to-head, Halys leads 1-0. It was in 2022 in the Rome Challenger. Money has come for de Jong, though, in the build-up to this match. Marginal money, despite losing his last 4 matches. Halys lost to a Frenchman, Arthur Fils, in the Australian Open in his last match in the second round, but he did take a set off the very talented Frenchman Fils there. The money is coming for the underdog. French support will be for Halys, and we know the French do well in this tournament. Where are we going here?
That is a very good question. Where are we going here? Quentin Halys should be winning this indoors with the weapons that he's got. Big serve, big forehand. Backhand's not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. But the more I looked at this, the more that I kind of figured out that his record on indoor hard at main level isn't that great. I would have thought it would be better than it actually is. Yes, but de Jong's got no sort of record really on indoor hard, certainly not at this level. He's more of a clay man, de Jong. 70% of the matches that he played last year were played on clay, and he does tend to prefer that surface. He's not a big hitter. He's quite a small guy, in comparison to the size of tennis players these days. Not the biggest weapons. Relies more on sort of athleticism, solidity. Not the kind of guy that will serve you off the court or hit you off the court, generally speaking. Hence his preference for clay. As you said, they played that one time on clay, and de Jong should have won it, actually. He was 4-1 and 5-3 up in the final set of that match, which I think was in Rome, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he ended up losing it 8-6 in the final set tiebreak. So he should have won that one. You probably expect de Jong to have a much better chance on clay against Halys than indoor hard. As I said, he's got no real record on this surface at this level, de Jong. He's only played 3 matches. Hasn't won any of them at main level on indoor hard, and his service points won and return points won total is 89. So it's a very small sample size. Only played 3 matches, but not a promising start. But Halys he's got a surprisingly poor record. He's only got a 27% win rate on indoor hard at main level, and his service points won and return points won total is 95, which surprises me. It surprises me that he's only held serve 79% of the time indoors at this level. It doesn't surprise me as much that he's only won 32.6% of return points. You would kind of expect that. He's not the best returner. And he's only won 41% of his second serve points. So a surprisingly poor record indoors for Halys. He did make the quarterfinals here last year. He should, in theory, have too much power for de Jong, but given that indoor hard record, I would be tempted to back the over games here, over 22.5. It's a slight lean for me here at minus 112 for Bet Rivers. It feels like de Jong, if the conditions aren't that quick, I don't think they're that quick. If he can get into a lot of these Halys service games, I think you could potentially take this past the overs mark.
So a lean for over 22.5 games in the Jong Halys match. A lean for Goffin at plus 114. And a lean for Kukushkin. No official play.
I'm taking Kukushkin.
Oh, we're going to take
that price.
Kukushkin. Yep. Oh,
yeah.
So
I'm not having this minus 190 business on Basilashvili.
So
this could go either one or two ways, either very well or very badly. That's betting on Basilashvili in a nutshell.
Yeah.
It'll either go great or it won't, and it generally depends on what mood he's in and how he's feeling. So at those odds, I think it's certainly worth a bet on Kukushkin.
Yeah, plus 150 currently with Bet Rivers. That market is moving around quite a lot, so make sure you head across to the website or download the app to find out what the latest prices are. There are a couple of other matches in action tomorrow. Felix Auger-Aliassime up against Artur Cazaux, minus 240. Felix plus 188.
I think these are Thursday. I think they're probably going to be Thursday. I think that's something we were going to talk about tomorrow. But they generally play the seeds Thursday.
Oh, okay.
They may play one of them tomorrow. I'm not sure, but yeah, sorry, mate.
It's just had it down as tomorrow, so I just wondered if that was going to be the case. But anyway,
we don't know yet.
Well, we're looking forward to Felix Auger-Aliassime against Artur Cazaux, and we're looking forward to see Aleksandar Bublik against Dominik Kopfer. And they could be the matches that I'm at. So I'm looking to see our 10-1 pick Bublik in action. Cazaux, a local guy, maybe causing an upset against Felix Auger-Aliassime. Like I said earlier, sorry, John.
So I think those are going to be good matches if you are there.
Yeah.
And they're on. If you think it's quicker, I mean, it's kind of hard to tell, but anything quicker would favour Bublik, which would be good for us. It would also favour Kukushkin, which would also be good for us. And it should create an interesting match with Artur Cazaux and Felix.
I hope it's quick because I've bet a tie-break in the Greek sport Van der Sandschulp first set, and it's now 1 point away from being a tie-break. Van der Sandschulp.
He was 5-2 up, wasn't he? Greek sport.
I got a bit lucky. I was thinking, he's only called it right. It's slower, and I'm sitting there doing my money again. But I might have a chance here. Van der Sandschulp serving at 40-30, 5-6. Big ace balls. We'll come back to that. And we need a tie break. Here's our figures for the season so far. Game bet match slightly behind minus 3.81. WTA for 3.21. The Premier League is having a bad season. Majority of it on me, but extra time doing really, really well. 22.58. So across our four main shows here, we are showing a slight profit, about 5 units up if you bet everything that the team have suggested on our four main shows. As I said earlier, remember, I will be in Montpellier tomorrow. Follow all my stuff out there. I'm going to be doing stuff on the court, giving you some sort of tour around the town from the tennis venue, and also looking at the best bets and some in-play after each set. And that'll be all exclusive on the Instagram account at Because We Win. And finally, tomorrow evening, it's the Champions League. It is the final, it's not the group stage now, league match, I thought. It's the final league match to determine who gets into the knockout stage. There's 24 teams of the remaining 36 who have a chance of progressing through to the Champions League knockout stages, and myself and Steve Wiss will be giving you a live betcast from 7:30 UK, 2:30 Eastern time tomorrow, giving you all the team news, the big moves on the markets, the money moves, and then the in-play, all the way through in-play betting at its best on what promises to be an exceptional night of in-play betting. You can only get that if you subscribe to the Betting Weekly Studios newsletter. So bettingweeklystudios.com, head across there, hit on the subscribe button, give your email address, and you'll be added with an exclusive link to watch that live show. And there is going to be live content all the way through exclusively for newsletter subscribers coming as well this year. I'm going to go because this is all going wrong on the tie break. It's now a break point on Bosic Van der Sandschulp serve. He served it out, missed it by a mile, and the Greek ball wins 7-5 from the point where I'm just about to go and have a large brandy. We'll speak to you all again tomorrow because that sums my luck up in the last week. Take care. Bye-bye.